What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Yanks the Cop. Thank you so much for joining us. For those who are in the chat, I am the host, Andrew at Scans LFC. As always, I am joined by the lovely Sophie. Sophie, how are we doing today?
I'm all right, thanks, honey. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks. It's Friday, no complaints. Wahomie, we're always joined by Wahomie. Big thanks to him. He's been manning the channel for a while. Steve and I have been pretty busy along with Sophie. So I'm bringing you into it.
It's all me.
It's all you. Shut your
But thanks to the both of you guys for helping us out. It's been absolutely awesome, and it's always fun having you guys on. But Wahomie, how you doing today, man?
Yeah, I'm feeling good after yesterday's result. Positive again. Feels good to be happy again.
So I couldn't watch it, actually. I couldn't watch the game. I was at work. It was on at 3:15 p.m. here. So I watched it at 10 p.m. here. So that was like 2 a.m. for you guys. Unbelievable match. It was a proper game of football. Both teams going for it. We dominated, I thought, most of the game. Had a scare spell towards the end there, but Mo Salah again. But I wasn't on the show last night, obviously. So what were your thoughts on this game, you guys? Do you think that this game propels us forward to the top four? Just give it all to me. What do you think?
Well, I said it yesterday, didn't I? This gives us a lifeline to top four. I wouldn't go as far to say top four is now ours. It's like a fingertip grip. And I keep saying it. It's literally a fingertip grip on top four. It's ours to lose, but it's ours to win as well. But if we want it, we've got to go for it. But this game put us definitely on the right track because nobody thought that we were going to beat United yesterday. Like, no one in their right mind thought that was going to happen. Like, even myself, I said it was going to be a draw, a 1-1 at best. So I think it's going to give more so than it being impactful on top four. I think confidence-wise, this is going to have a massive, massive boost for the lads because I'm sure even them, they must have felt a bit anxious about going into this match because it's always difficult. And the fact that this is the first time we've won at Old Trafford for so long, and we did it with the B team, not even the B team, not even the C team, like the fucking Z team. We've done such a good job, and it wasn't just like a scrappy win either. It was a solid win. So I think it definitely puts us in a better position that we were in. I wouldn't necessarily say it was a good position still, though.
What did you make of the result, though? I mean, the play, though. I mean, do you think that we played well overall? Did it look like the Liverpool of last season? I mean, what did you think about the performance before we get to Wahomie?
Yeah, like the play itself, was much, much improved. I wouldn't go as far to say it was the play we're used to, because it still wasn't. There were still issues, there were still gaps, there were still concerns for me, but it was drastically an improvement on what we've been seeing the last few months or so. I can't fault the performance on its merit of what it was yesterday, but I think if you were to compare it to last season's, it's still not up to par. But the boys seem to be communicating. There seemed to be a connection between each of the areas. And, I've always said it's like a domino effect with Liverpool. If your defence doesn't work and your midfield doesn't work, if your midfield doesn't work, your front three aren't clinical. And we've spoke in great depth and great length about how our front three need to be clinical. They need to take their chances. And I think they definitely took their chances yesterday. And I think I said it on Doug's podcast earlier that for me, it was because it was solid in all the areas. And obviously with the midfield, I think that midfield made the difference for me because that midfield allowed the front three to move forward. Obviously having Jota on as well instead of Mane. I really liked that link-up play, and it allowed Trent to get up that side because he had coverage. It wasn't bitty, and Klopp made the right subs at the right time for me, and I just thought it was an all well-rounded, thought-out game, good football, better than we've seen, but not as good as we can be still. And I think if anybody's sitting there holding their hand up now and saying that was the best, Liverpool are back to the winning ways for that, no, we're not. That remains to be seen next season when everyone's back. But for me, it was a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if we can end the season on a high, that would be massive. But just getting to the chat real quick, Alan Holloway. Hi, guys. Andrew Hope. So I think you're thinking of Steven. Steven's the one who's had a terrible internet. He's the one who's always going in and out. So I actually have really good internet here. So I very rarely drop out. But thanks for joining us, Alan. Steven, Somerville Irish Rugby, thanks for joining us again, man. Yeah, huge win last night. Absolutely massive. Hopefully we can get a good result from Chelsea Leicester this weekend. Homie had a good stat in our little group chat saying that was the third win at Old Trafford for Liverpool in 17 years. So that is insane. That is crazy. Zane, a much better performance, though. Yeah, completely agree. For just piggybacking on Sophie's comments, I completely agree with everything she said. I think that for me, what stood out was the press. The press was absolutely immense. Started the second half, they didn't know what to do. I mean, if you look at somebody like Fred, who's usually pretty good in possession, pretty good at passing the ball, distributing, yesterday he didn't know what to do with the ball. Right when he got the ball, he was immediately just surrounded by players in that weird turquoise blue that we have. But
I like that kit.
No, I like it too. But it was just so impressive. You know, we hadn't seen that press, I don't think, pretty much all season. So, homie, let's get to you. What did you think about the overall play of the lads for Liverpool at Old Trafford?
Yeah, I thought obviously we started a bit nervous, and I thought obviously for the first goal the United scored, our communication wasn't there in terms of. I think Alisson could have shouted at Phillips to leave the ball. I think it was that constant. I think still because it's a new partnership. I still feel there's obviously the lack of trust Alisson has in terms of the centre backs. I think he'd have more confidence to do that if it was Van Dijk or Matip or Gomez in front of him. But I don't think he has that trust right now. But that's something obviously the more games they play like Phillips and Williams or Phillips and Kabak, that trust will come. And I think Fabinho could have been much better in terms of marking Fernandes. He allowed Fernandes to get away from him and get that shot when he shouldn't have done. So I thought in the first 10 minutes we looked a bit nervous. And obviously I thought after Man United scored, I thought, okay, that it was going to end up bad for us. But then I loved, obviously that resilience we showed and that mentality to, come back into this game. So, I thought after that we took control for a good period of the game. I don't think United really had anything to the second half. There's a 20-minute spell they had. Otherwise, I think we thoroughly deserved the win and we should have been out of sight, really. I think we know Jota should have scored. He has to be bearing that chance. And I'm not sure Mane was offside. But he had a chance where if he wasn't offside, then he should have scored. But so I thought the good parts of it that we did, and also there's still some areas where you think, okay, yeah, Liverpool would need to obviously fine-tune this and improve it a bit more. I still think we need to be more clinical because I think that it could be the case where goal difference comes into it. And we need to. I think we're one goal behind Leicester now, and we need to start racking goals in so we can build our goal difference. But yeah, I think overall it was a good performance, especially for one. We've gone there with our best team, we've gone there with our best team, and we've had Van Dijk, Gomez, all those people there, and not been able to ever win at Old Trafford. But we won there with Phillips and Williams. And I tweeted yesterday how Cavani didn't score any goals, didn't have any shots on goal, and he's supposed to be one of the best strikers in the world, and he couldn't do anything against Phillips and Williams. So I think for what there is, the team we had out did it really, really well. So I think they should all walk away from that game proud of the performance, especially all the crap the United were doing, slashing tires, blocking the wrong team bus, having the game postponed, all that rubbish. Resting their best players against Leicester to still lose. So it was like poetic justice that we got this victory, and hopefully this is the first of many wins at Old Trafford, and I think hopefully that we finally broken this kind of block we had under Klopp at Old Trafford. So, I think there's some good. We've broken some good hoodoos. We've broken the Emirates one and we've broken the Old Trafford one this season. So, hopefully that bodes well. That the players know we can go to Old Trafford and win. So yeah, I thought I was very happy with the overall result. But like Liverpool fashion, with most games, it's always a squeaky bum where you're thinking, okay, well, this could tip.
Always.
Always. It's never easy with Liverpool.
No.
Well, yeah. So Zane said the press was high and we kept going all match. Yeah, I was so impressed. I mean, that press was the whole 90 minutes. It was very impressive. I mean, there was a little let off in like the 80th minute in that time, but just great stuff by Genie, Thiago, Jones when he came on, Fabinho. I thought they were all fantastic. Firmino as well. Firmino was just so good yesterday. We'll get to him in a second. Steven, yeah, sorry, man, I misspoke. I meant next week. But it's funny that they're playing this weekend as well. So I was kind of right. But Thiago, I thought was, he's starting to play. He's starting to really come on now that he has Fabinho back there. And you're starting to see a really solid partnership between the three of them. I think when Genie inevitably goes this summer, I know Sophie's probably hoping that he doesn't. When Hendo slides back in there, that is a solid.
I saw a good stat. They were talking about the game yesterday. They said like the game yesterday wasn't about possession or like fancy passes. It was more about high pressing and winning the ball back. And they showed I think a stat like Thiago was number one for in midfield for dribbles, for recoveries, and interceptions, and tackles won. So it was like a different kind of game that Thiago had to play. More of like win the ball back from United high up the pitch, and and in that sense. So I think like he showed a different side of his game that he could do the nitty gritty, dirty kind of stuff. That we might have obviously seen Thiago as more of like the flair play, long passing. So it wasn't really about that. So in terms of like him possession wise stats, he wasn't high yesterday for that. He was more high for recovery. So I like that side of Thiago. So it does bode well that as you're saying, like Fabinho's brought the best out of Thiago now. Henderson's going to bring out even more better out of Fabinho. Yeah. So it's exciting times, And I think we've not lost now with Fabinho and Thiago midfield the last 5 games or 6 games now.
Knock on wood. But no, and something I also noticed about Thiago last night was he was constantly, we've always been critical of him because he hasn't been the best in covering for Trent. I saw a lot more of that last night, and I thought he was pretty effective doing that. But yeah, Chris Welch, class performance yesterday for sure. Parth, thanks for joining us as always. Yeah, chat, keep going, you guys. I really want to hear what you guys have to say about this. But Sophie, let's talk about somebody who has been on the bad end of criticism throughout the entire season, Bobby Firmino. What do you have to say about him? In my opinion, he was immense last night.
Like, for me, he was my man of the match last night. He was, everybody went for Trent, and I understand because Trent was my first op, like he was my first choice. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, you know what? Bobby was outstanding. His positional play, his reactivity, his passing, his creativity, his goal scoring, he was everywhere at the right time. And I've mentioned it. I mentioned it last night. I mentioned it on Doug's podcast. But I just want to go over that second goal of Bobby's again. The play. The fact he drew the defence out and then turned them. They all followed Trent running back. Whereas Bobby stood there after going to Trent will actually pass it forward. And then he half volleys it over. And, you're just thinking, it was so well thought out. He was just everywhere on the ball. He was constantly tracking back. He was making recoveries. He didn't stop. Every time I looked at the pitch, my eyes went to Bobby. And as much praise as he deserves, that was his first goal in 16 appearances. So you can't discount everything that's happened. But credit where credit's due. He was amazing last night. I couldn't fault his performance. Personally, I didn't think there was anything that you could fault about it. Because my friend was here and, Riddick on Twitter. Yeah. Absolutely loves, he's been on here before, absolutely loves Bobby, but he's both our friends. So as soon as Bobby's goal went in, we were both like, Ben! Like texting Ben about it. And we were just like, we knew how happy it would make so many people seeing Bobby do really well. And he was just immense for me. He was by far one of the best players on the pitch. I can't fault him. Can't fault him at all. I don't know about you guys, but that was the best I've seen Bobby in a very, very long time.
Tommy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think obviously I think Bobby was outstanding yesterday. And it was so good to see him be the one that kind of like break that duct. and help us get those goals because I think like his movement for the first goal was really good. Like Pogba was left in his arse, like which you'd love to see, and then his movement for the second goal to have that awareness to know, look, let me get in the box. Like Henderson isn't the greatest keeper, as much as United tried to make out he's some second amazing keeper. He's not, and Bobby was there to capitalise. So I think he looked like the old Bobby. That was full of energy, movement, and it's good to see, because I think this bodes well the fact that if he's getting into form with the games we've got coming up, we want to see all of our front three in form and scoring goals. So I'm happy with Bobby. And hopefully he can keep this up and go on a little run during the season now, where he can score goals because we're going to need those. Like I said, for the goal difference, we're going to need our strikers on form, especially the games we've got coming up. So yeah, I think Man United couldn't handle Bobby, and I think they couldn't handle his movement and his positions he was taking up. So he made a massive difference yesterday. So it's good to see Bobby get on that score sheet again.
Yeah, and I think our friends over at Nothing But Reds have a good point. He said Bobby's incredible yesterday. It's incredible how amazing we play when Bobby plays well. I mean, yeah, he's like the first line of defense for us, and when he's pressing well, then the whole team tends to press well. So I thought he was incredible at that last night. He was kind of leading the line. So I mean that gives me that restores my faith. I mean, I guess I never really lost faith in Bobby, but I think that we should definitely and we likely will keep him for next season. Even if he's not full-on striker, he can drop into it 10. But we've talked about that a bunch. But somebody who also was got a lot of plaudits yesterday was Trent Alexander-Arnold. Gareth Southgate was in attendance. So I mean, at this point, does he make the Euros?
Has to.
Yeah, has to, doesn't he? Like, as much as selfish point of view, I don't want him anywhere near the Euros. I want Trent. You know what? In an ideal world, what I would really like is I'd like Gareth Southgate to call Trent up and Trent to go, you know what? Shove it up your ass. I'd love him to just say, stick it up your ass. That he won't, because it's a big honour to play for your country. I mean, personally, I don't see it. But I think he'll go for Euros. Gareth Southgate now, the last few times Gareth Southgate's watched Trent, he's had absolutely killer performances and shown just what he's capable of doing. And I don't really understand why he dropped Trent to begin with. He's the best right back in England. But yeah, I think he definitely gets a recall back up to England for this now.
What do you think, Mohammed?
Yeah, I think Trent ended the conversation yesterday. Where people keep going, Trent come outside. Yesterday it was Reece Williams and Wan-Bissaka come outside. Like Wan-Bissaka, for example, in the same game, he was shocking last night. Yep. And while Reece Williams can't even start for Chelsea anymore. So
Reece James,
can't even start for Chelsea anymore. So Trent was outstanding. Yesterday was an example of how to control a game from right back.
Yeah.
For me, like his passing, his movement. There's a bit where he did that dribble where I think he took on two players and he shot, and it would have been great if that had gone in. Could have been like a wicked goal. But yeah, he was outstanding yesterday. And I think everything that Southgate said he's not been in good form has all been nonsense. Because statistically, Trent's still been the best right back defensively in the Premiership, and no one's come close to him. And even attacking wise, no one's come close to him anyhow. So I don't know what he's been watching, Southgate. But if Trent doesn't go to the World Cup or the Euros, whatever it is, don't really care for national football. But if he doesn't go, then Southgate's an idiot. But it's obviously I'd rather he didn't go. But yeah, I think Trent put on a masterclass yesterday. So, and I tweeted yesterday, like 4 years ago, Trent went to Old Trafford and had a mar when Rashford destroyed him. Yeah. Yesterday, he leads man of the match, put a passing clinic. So, how he's grown in probably like 2 years, 3 years is massive.
Incredible.
And he's only, people still forget, Trent's only 22. He's turned 22 recently. So he's still a kid, still nowhere near his prime, and he's still got so much more to develop in terms of his defensive side of the game and also the defensive side of the game. So, people, when they talk about generational talent, they always leave out Trent and talk about Foden, but Trent's the true generational talent in the Premiership. He's a true best youngster in the Premiership. And people didn't accept that. By his standards, he's dropped, but he's put some incredible standards. So it was always going to be difficult for him to maintain that, especially in the season we've had. But Trent's still world class. So, yesterday was just as a local boy to beat our biggest rivals was just fit for him.
Yeah, I mean he's had to deal with 25 different. I don't even know how many it is now, but at least 25 different center back partnerships. So the fact that he's having the season that he is, or at least ending on the season as he has been pretty impressive. What were you going to say, Sophie?
No, I was just going to say pretty much the same thing, that he's just an amazing player. But just going off what Homie said, like everyone looks at Foden as a generational talent, and I think what Homie hit the nail on the head. People seem to forget that Trent's still only 22. They look at Trent, and because it feels like he's been in this Liverpool team forever, it doesn't feel like he's only been with us 4 years. And his first season was horrendous. And a lot of Liverpool fans were like, "Oh, get that kid out! Like he's not good enough." And then all of a sudden he came into his own. And people tend to forget because he feels like he's been with us for so long now.
Right.
Even I do. I think he's my age. I think he's like mid-20s. And then I go, "Oh shit! Yeah, he's like 5 years younger than me. Fucking hell, Jesus! I'm old enough to be like his big sister." But I still think he's older than he is, and he's been with us longer than he is, and I think that's why he's never thrown in these generational talent shouts, because people just think that he's much older than Haaland and Foden and and Sancho, and he's not really. He's in the same age bracket as them.
Right. Yeah, a lot of people forget that. Chris Welch, everyone's not ready for Trent in the coming years. Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at him yesterday, and it looks like he's bulked up a little bit too. He's been hitting that weight room, so he's going to be. I think he's going to be better defensively. We're going to see him get better and better defensively every year, especially with a solid center back partnership. Van Dijk will be there for a while as well. So I think he's going to continue to improve. But so we have West Brom, Burnley, and Crystal Palace remaining. Do you guys think we get over the line?
I think for me, the key one is Fat Sam this weekend for me.
Really?
Yeah, because he hates Liverpool. He doesn't like Klopp, and he would love nothing better than to ruin our Champions League hopes. Even though he's got nothing to play for, he'd love nothing better to park the bus and get a draw. And plus, at West Brom, our record's not great. At Turf Moor, we've got a good record, but West Brom, we haven't won there. A lot of times we go to Turf Moor, we end up drawing. We haven't lost many, but we end up drawing there a lot. So, and Fat Sam, we're happy with that. He'd be happy with a draw. A draw's a win for him. Because he could say, look, I stopped Liverpool relegated, but West Brom but I stopped Liverpool. And he, even when he was at Everton, how happy was he when he got a draw against us? He celebrated as if he won the World Cup. So, we have to get over Fat Sam at the Hawthorns. So that's going to be a tough game. Because West Brom are good in the air. They're very good at set pieces. They're going to try and bombard us with set pieces and long balls and play rugby football and frustrate us. It's going to be one of those games you have to be patient. We have to be clinical. So, we have to have our forwards on point in that game. They have to take whatever chances they get. They're not going to get loads of chances, but there will be chances. Because this West Brom team as well, we have to remember, I think City, Arsenal, Spurs have all destroyed West Brom this season. So we have to be clinical. So I think we get past West Brom. I think we beat Burnley and Palace, because I know Burnley will have fans at Turf Moor, but we've got a good record there. We always win there. So, and Palace will beat Palace at Anfield with in front of fans. So I think it comes down to the West Brom game. If we can get past that, because the worst thing we do, beat United, then go West Brom and draw. That'd be classic Liverpool, and that's the worst thing we can do. So we have to go there, assert our game, and get a win and shove it down Fat Sam's face, and then send him back down to the Championship where he belongs. And that's what we need to do this weekend. So
give me an answer. Do you think we get over the line for top four?
Yes, because it's in our hands. Because I think I'm putting my neck out, and I fluctuated a lot over this. But I'm put my neck out and say, yeah, I think we do it, because I also think that one of Chelsea or Leicester are going to bottle it and fall apart, especially when they play each other this weekend. Next week on the Tuesday, one of them's going to fall apart. So, and I think if either of them lose in that game, or it's a draw, it benefits Liverpool. We're still in. But nothing but Reds. I'm saying we are going to get top 4. Heard it here. Are going to get top 4.
So, what do you think?
If we get past West Brom, yes. If we draw against them, a draw's not enough. We have to be. If we beat them, I think we can do it. You know, like Raheem said, we've got a really good record at Turf Moor and Crystal Palace, and never a team I fear playing anyway. Especially with having the fans back, that 10,000 fans, however many it's going to feel. It's going to feel like 50,000. It's going to feel amazing. But yeah, I think we've got to get past Fat Sam first. If we beat him, we've got top 4, in my opinion. Because Chelsea and Leicester are going to play each other, so the points are going to be dropped by either one of them or both of them. Like, either way, it benefits us. It falls right into our hands, and I'm just going to say, I'm holding on my fingertips, but if we get past Fast Sam, yeah, we can.
I think the big one, I think the tough one is Burnley away. I think Burnley, whether it's Ashley Barnes or Chris Wood, could just bully Reece Williams.
Won't Kabak be back by then?
Will he be back?
Mm-hmm. Kabak only missed United again because he wasn't.
You never know with our players.
Well,
Thiago was supposed to be back in a couple of weeks, and he ended up being out for like 3 months.
And Joss had only bruised his knee, but was out for like 6.
Yeah, no, exactly. Nothing but Red saying Wahomie with the diplomatic answer. Yeah, it's always with Wahomie, man. That's how it is, Kyle. Chris Welsh, Wahomie is our jinx. Dude, Wahomie, take it back, man. God damn.
Hey, Doug!
Zane is saying, I can't say to the Palace game due to being so inconsistent. Yeah, it's a good point. I think that the winning over United, though, will spur us,
Those are my famous last words. There's a dream of Chelsea. Yeah. Got so wrong.
Yeah.
Got so wrong.
Well, the squad being united last season was massive, and so is this. I think we have a proper motivation now to go for it. Yeah, I completely agree. I think that's the big thing for me. But just, yeah, like the guys have been saying on Instagram and Twitter, 1 game at a time, 3 games to go. My question to you guys is, who would you rather have drop points, this Chelsea or Leicester, when they play each other? Because if Leicester drop points, then they have to play Spurs. I'm not sure if that game is home or away for them. But Spurs are going to be fighting for a Europa League spot, right? So they actually have the motivation. Aston Villa, they're fighting to be in the top 10. But I mean, who would you guys rather have win the points?
I think Leicester have got Spurs away as well.
It's Spurs away. I wasn't sure if it's home or away.
No, it's at home. Spurs at home. They've got Chelsea away, then Spurs at home.
Okay. So who would you rather have? I think you'd rather have Leicester drop points because then they could drop points to Spurs.
I think I would prefer Chelsea to lose, because then if Chelsea lose, they're going to go into that final against Man City with a point to need to win it. I don't want Man City to win the Champions League, so I'll take that. Otherwise, because I was first thinking that Chelsea won the Champions League, that it would affect top 4, but it doesn't anymore. So we don't have to worry about that. So it doesn't matter. The Champions League final doesn't matter. So I'd prefer Chelsea to lose, because if Chelsea lose, we go ahead of them. Because we'll be a point after them. We beat West Brom this weekend. And Chelsea lose, we'd go ahead of them. So I think Chelsea are much more easy to overtake than Leicester, because Leicester are a bit more points ahead of us.
No, I think Chelsea has 64. Hold on, pull them up. Yeah, Chelsea have 64. We have 60.
Yeah, but we're not game in hand. We got a point behind them. And then Leicester. Yeah, Leicester.
Then we're hoping. Yeah, I mean, either way, it works out. But then we're hoping for Chelsea to lose or to draw against Aston Villa. And I don't think Aston Villa are strong enough to face to beat Chelsea. I could be wrong. You never know.
Grealish is back, and they've got the fans back. So
true. Any way it happens, man. Any way it happens, and I will.
I think I'd rather Chelsea lose, because if they lose that game, they stay on 64. We've got a game in hand. That takes us to 63. That takes us 1 point behind them, and 1 point is so easy to get on top of something. Like, look at when we came second in the league by 1 point at the final hurdle. Like, it's so easy. And plus, even if we get on level points with them, our goal difference is so much better than theirs. Oh wait, no, sorry, I looked at the wrong one. Ours is better. Theirs is better by 2. So if they lose and they concede 2, their goal difference goes down. So say Leicester beat them 2-0. Their goal difference goes down to 20. If we manage to nip them by 1 point, we're in there.
Yeah.
And it's that tight. And I think I don't care who drops points, because it both ways open a door into top 4 for us. But I think Chelsea, for me, seems to be the slightly easier route by points. But by fixtures, Leicester seems to be the easiest way if they drop points, because they've got the harder fixture list.
Right. Yeah, I mean, whatever way it happens, if we just get in, I think that's one of the biggest outcomes that we've ever had, to be honest. With the season that we've had, the amount of injuries, losing our fucking talisman with Virgil van Dijk, Henderson's in and out of the lineup, Naby Keita's nowhere to be found, Shaqiri and Tsimikas are in the basement, like all these different storylines. Whatever way it happens, it has to happen. But last thing about the United game, the very end of the match, we saw Sadio Mane snub Jurgen Klopp with a high five. Now he threw his tape on the ground. It's become a huge storyline. What do you guys think? Do you think it's serious? Klopp didn't seem too concerned about it, but so go ahead.
We talked about this last night, and we talked about it on Dubs as well. He doesn't snub him. He does. Klopp's walking on like this direction. Mane's walking there. So they cross each other's. They don't even cross each other's path. Mane's got his back to Klopp as Klopp put his hand out. At best, Mane may have seen it out the corner of his eye if he was looking that way. If he was looking his perspective, he might have seen Klopp. But he was frustrated with his own. He was frustrated with himself. He was frustrated with his own performance that day. He probably wanted to contribute more to the team, which is understandable. But when Klopp came out and said, if a player shows you nothing but respect 1,000 times, and then one occasion doesn't show you respect, I hope that your manager remembers the thousands of times you went, look.
No problem. Yesterday I made a late decision in training to decide for Diogo.
Oh, I don't know. So
I don't think it's anything. I just think Mane's just pissed off with himself. But even if he has snubbed Klopp, say he's seen Klopp, and he's gone, nah, fuck off, I'm not giving you the high five. And what? Is it really that big a deal? Because I'm not being funny, but there are times where my fella will come down to give me a hug after we had like a tiff, and I go, nah, fuck off, I don't want to talk to you. It doesn't mean World War III. It doesn't mean the end of everything. It just means I just don't want to fucking talk to you right now because I'm pissed off with you. He's either pissed off with Klopp or he's pissed off with himself, and he just doesn't want to be touched or talked to in that moment in time. I'm pretty sure 5-10 minutes later in the dressing room, he was absolutely fine with Klopp. I just think this is the media making a big deal out of nothing, like do with Mane refuses to go down because he doesn't want Salah to get a penalty type crap. I feel like it's that type of thing again. Just stop trying to make a story out of nothing. It doesn't need to be a story. And even if it is an issue, that's something to be dealt with between the manager and his player. Not fucking ESPN Sport Bible, whatever the fuck it was. Like, what does it matter?
Yeah. No, I mean, when I look at that, I think he does snub him, but I don't think it's an issue. I would rather have my strikers or wingers or attackers to be angry when they're not playing. Because then they're going to come out the next game and they're going to be on fire. Well, homie, what do you think?
I think it's a non-story. And yeah. I think like I agree with what Doug says here, that it's TV rubbish that people are trying to perpetuate. I think like Klopp's rubbished it, so I don't see why people are pushing the story still. There's no issue between Klopp and Mane. Of course, Mane's a competitive player, but he's one of the most humble guys that you'll come across. So, of course, yeah, he's not happy. We've seen Salah, we've seen Hendo argue with Klopp before, not shake his hand. We've seen Mark Milner question Klopp when he's substituting him. It happens. They're all competitive players. They all want to play.
Yep.
So obviously, you're playing a big match. Of course, Marnie probably isn't happy with performance when he came on. Probably not happy with the fact that he finally scored, against Southampton. Now he's on the bench. Competitive players. But, I'd rather them have that edge than not have that edge. And it's like, now it's clean, dusted, it's under the carpet. We move forward. So I don't think it's a big issue as some of the Sky pundits who are trying to make out, that's big disrespect or nonsense that they're trying to do for a sensational headline. So I think we just move on. But it's a non-factor for me. I'm not losing sleep over that. Mane's not going to leave in the summer because of that. He's not going to get sold by Klopp because of that. All this rubbish that people are saying that after that.
Yeah, I just don't think it was a big deal. I mean, Zane said they don't have shame for what some of these guys have done for us. Yeah, Alan said, I'm happy Money was pissed off. I can completely agree. Dave, LFC Chats, thanks for joining, man. We always appreciate you in the chat. Love when that guy's in the chat. So good. Salah was great. Great celebration last night.
Walk off, Doug.
Oh, it's so corny, Doug. I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's talk about Salah. I mean, he's in the race for the Golden Boot with Harry Kane. I think they're both on 21 goals for the year. I mean, this guy just doesn't give up. Every season, he's just putting in the numbers, and he's helping this team get over the finish line. Hopefully, he can do it again this year. But Wahomie had some good stats here in our group chat. 17-18, 44 goal involvements. 18-19, 27 goals. 19-20, 23 goals. And this season, 30 goal involvements. He's now 8 off Drogba with 104 the top
African in England
in the Premier League with in goals. So I mean, what do you guys think of Salah?
I tweeted before that if Salah played for Man City, no one would question him being labelled the best player in the Premiership. Because he plays for Liverpool, people don't say it. But if he plays for Man City, everyone, pundits, everyone would say the best player in the Premiership without question, no debate. And also because as well the fact that he's had that stint at Chelsea is the only reason why people put a stain on his name and say he's not one of the best players of all time in the Premiership. Yeah. He's in the top. He's in the top 10 now as best players ever. Because no one. When people talk about some of the best players that's played, he's beating more than them. Like people talk about Giggs and Beckham as being, for example, Salah's got better stats than both of them, but yet they get talked about as being legendary players in the Premiership. Yeah, they've won more trophies than Salah because they played in a better team than Salah did. But in terms of individually, Salah's done more than them. He's been the best striker in the Premiership, since for a long time. No one could compare with him for that. The fact that people always talk about Salah doesn't only scores goals. He's always up there as one of the best creative ones with big chances in the Premiership or in Europe. And he'd get a lot more assists if our strikers were finishing more chances. But he's been outstanding. You can't dispute his record. And even like that, he's 8 away from being the top African goal scorer in less games as well. Wow. Salah's been amazing. Yeah, what I always find laughable is City fans going on about Mahrez being better than Salah, all this nonsense. It's like Salah's stats have been better than Mahrez since he's joined England. There's no comparison. So I think Salah's doesn't get the respect he deserves by even some Liverpool fans, because most Liverpool fans are like, get rid of Salah, sell him, get Mbappe, sell Salah. Or they sell Salah for Sancho, or
That's
and they
Salah for Sancho is criminal. No. I get the Mbappe, but
I don't even get the Mbappe.
Sancho's a good player.
I think Mbappe. I wouldn't sell Salah for Mbappe. Salah gets you 30 goal involvements every season. Unless Mbappe's going to do that, then I wouldn't sell Salah for Mbappe. I think Salah's arguably now, probably one up there with the top 4 strikers that ever played for Liverpool. And people don't understand that. He deserves to be more respected for his achievements, the stats he brought. So, and I don't think he's ever going to get that respect because of his stint at Chelsea. The fact that he plays at Liverpool, but he's world class. It's undebatable, and he's best player in the Premiership. It's not De Bruyne, that's Salah.
So, what do you think?
I agree with everything.
Wow.
Except that De Bruyne shouts at the end.
You think De Bruyne is better?
I think De Bruyne is a different class. Like, you can't. It's apples and grapes. They're different. They do different roles.
Plays a better team.
But that's like saying, oh well, Virgil's a better player than Salah. One's a defender, one's a winger. They're different roles. Like, you can say 100% Salah is one of the best wingers in the Premier League. He is absolutely phenomenal. Stats show it. His record speaks for itself. Completely agree with everything there, but you've got to say that De Bruyne is one of the best midfielders in the world. He is, above all else, absolutely phenomenal. And I wouldn't say that Salah's better than De Bruyne, because I'd say in some ways De Bruyne's better than Salah, but then another way Salah's better than De Bruyne. For me, you can't make that comparison because they play different roles. You can't. I do love De Bruyne. I think he's amazing, and I'd love him at Liverpool. I really, really fucking would. I'd bite your hand off for De Bruyne, to be honest with you. I'd give you me nan. Oh, no. No, I take that back. No, I wouldn't give you me nan.
No, don't do that.
No, I take that back. I don't like him that much. I'd consider it for Virgil to stay forever, but no. But Salah is an incredible, incredible player. He's just, and he, like Wahome said, I mean, I won't rehash what he said because he said it very well there. But he goes through so much disrespect by fans across the league. Like, they don't put respect on his name because he's Liverpool. And as Wahome said, you put him in any other team, any other time, and he'd be hailed as one of the greatest that have ever graced the Premier League. And they go, oh, Salah's greedy, Salah doesn't do this. They've got an agenda against him because he plays for Liverpool. Everybody seems to hate Liverpool because we don't stand for what a lot of the other clubs stand for. And he's embraced that Liverpool Scouse culture into his life, and a lot of people don't like that. And he gets a lot of hate for it, and he gets a lot of stick. But I think you've got to play it. If you take Mohamed Salah's name off the top of that sheet and say to somebody, here's a player who's been playing for one football team for 4 years, he's got 30 goal involvements minimum each year. He's got 43. What do you think? You go, he's one of the best. Take his name off the paper and no one argues with you. You put his name on the paper and everyone disagrees. It's just a media bias.
I just love when they show like Bruno Fernandes stats or even Kevin De Bruyne stats, and it's like best in the league except for Mo Salah. And Mo Salah's like always right above them, and they're always like applauding those two players, but they never really mention Salah. Yet he is in the stat line. But the chat was going off on this one. Chris Welch said that Salah my front three of all time, Premier League 11 for me. Said that last season too. Yeah, I mean I think he definitely has a good shout, probably over Ronaldo now for sure. They say that Mahrez is better on the ball and dribbling. Salah has completed more dribbles. They're going to say everything, man. They really are. Those City fans, they're just looking for attention. Clearly, Salah's the better player. His goal scoring record from Allen is up there with the Liverpool greats, 100%. Kyle at Nothing But Red saying most underappreciated player I've ever seen on Liverpool. Zero respect from other clubs and fans. Let's see. Dave's LFC chats. Mo Salah will go down as one of the greatest LFC players ever. Stats, baby. Salah, you little dancer. Loved the celebration last night. Absolutely loved the celebration. You just saw the emotion that was involved. I mean, last year when he took the shirt off, that was one thing. But this year, he literally just dropped to the ground. He was so happy. I absolutely love that.
It's like his whole body just like contorts, doesn't it? Like
Yeah.
He doesn't just go down and collapses. Like he doesn't just. He's like he gets halfway through the celebration and then his body kind of like seizes and he just kind of contorts back. And then Jones obviously runs over and is on top and he just kind of like, oh,
Yeah.
go for them.
Unreal.
Have you seen the picture of
So
them
much he loves the club.
side by side?
What do you say,
Shows how
Mohammed?
much he loves, no, so it shows how much he loves the club and the passion,
Yeah.
for it. The fact that meant a lot to him, and I think we just have to give Ferdinand said about Ollie gave him the contract. Give Salah the contract he wants.
Blah, 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 blah.
If he wants 200k, give Salah the contract he wants.
Don't jinx it, you dick.
He does jinx everything, according to Chris Will.
Honest to God, you don't say what fucking Ferdinand said because we mock them relentlessly for 18 months with that because it came back and bit him on the arse. Don't use the same fucking analogy.
Well, just give Salah 200. If he wants 200k, give him that 200k. And let him end his career at Liverpool and be the all-time great and break all our records, because we can't lose Salah. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no coincidence that ever since he's joined, we've reached the pinnacle. We've reached the very top. But Zayn had a good stat here: 186 goals and assists in 200 appearances. That is just absolutely insane.
Question for you: is Salah the best pound for pound signing we've had under Klopp?
I still think Van Dijk's the best signing we've ever had. I think Virgil van Dijk's the best player in the world. So, I mean, I've never seen somebody defend like Virgil van Dijk, so I'm always going to put him above. But
I feel like, hang on, how much did we sign Salah for?
What, 39 million or something? 38?
Nah.
Like that.
No. I think if you're going to say... Sorry, I'm just seeing Chris's comments. Oh, Chris, I love you. You make me proper howl. But I feel like Salah costs 30 odd mil. That is an absolute bargain considering what you'll get for him now. 30 odd mil is not a lot really in football in terms. We got Diogo Jota for 40. But Virgil van Dijk was 75 million. That was a lot of money to spend on someone you hadn't. Yeah, he was good at Southampton. Yeah, he was good at Celtic. But that was a lot of money to spend out on a defender like that. And everyone was like, "Oh, well done, Liverpool! You just spent 75 million on a no one."
I love
that. And he completely revolutionised our entire team. Salah took it to a new level. Virgil bulldozed it and was part of the rebuild for me. He was pound for pound worth it because he cost so much and is now nearly doubled or if not tripled his fee. Whereas Salah is always been, he was a good player before. He's always been that, and he was cheap in retrospect.
I think Salah's the best. Sorry, Bohemi. I think Salah's the best bargain. Dave Rossi chat. No, he is because he came in for 30 whatever million, and then all of a sudden he scored 40 plus goals that year and set the record. So I mean, he did something that nobody saw coming. Virgil van Dijk, we paid the money for him, and he delivered. That's the difference. Yeah. Salah exceeded expectations, and Virgil lived up to the expectations. We all knew some tears behind the screen when Bayern Munich signed him. All of them kind of. Yeah, very likely.
What
I was going to say. What's going to say?
Shh. Mahomey's top drawer. He just pulls out a picture, just looks at this picture of McCann and goes, puts it back. What could it have been?
I did that montage where I stand in the window and it's raining. I'm looking outside, crying.
That's it. The episodes of Friends where Joey's got the little waterfall in front of him, he's staring at it. This little waterfall feature.
Yeah, in the background's "Hello, darkness, my old friend."
Yeah.
What was it with Salah is I think Roma didn't realize how good he was. Even though his stats in Italy were amazing, I think they didn't realize how good he was, and they sold him so cheap. And that's why they're so angry with Alisson. They're trying to put the price up for high. I think if they were actually to think about it again, Salah probably should have cost at least 50, 60 million when we bought him.
Yeah.
At the time, but they were so stupid and didn't realize how good he was. And that's what, so that's why we robbed them blind. But yeah, I think best bargain. I can see what you're saying about Van Dijk as in best pound for pound. I just wanted to throw that in there to see what you guys had to think.
No, fair job.
Well, let's wrap it up here with two more topics. Real quick, Van Dijk is not going to the Euros. He confirmed that, so that's nothing but good news for Liverpool supporters. Anything you guys want to say about that one?
Thankful.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's massive, right? I mean, sucks for the Dutch, but good for Liverpool.
He's going to get a full preseason at Liverpool to recover. That's massive.
Like, I don't think much needs to be said on this. Like, we are all grateful that Virgil's put club before country here, and it shows his commitment to the team. It highlights how much he cares for us and how much he loves this team, and that we're captain. I think it's just a really nice. It's a big thank you to the fans, because this entire time he's been out injured, all we've done, every time he's posted a recovery video or tweet or anything, we've been all there going, can't wait for you back. Like, we've shown him an outpouring of love and support, and like how much we miss him. And I think this is just like a really good thank you. Like, okay, you've waited for me. You've put your support and time into me. I'm going to give you the same respect and courtesy. He's got so much respect for the fans and the club to do that. And for me, that's why I love him. I love that sexy fucking Dutch bastard. I just love him. I just love him.
You know, like Steve says here, Virgil will come back like a pure beast. I want to go again for the league.
Yeah.
100%. He's going to come back.
Pissed off for this season.
Yeah.
He will be.
I hope they all do.
Yeah.
But lastly, this is, I think, Wahomie's favorite topic. Awar from France.
Oh, it's Makano all over again.
The fee was dropped to 30 million euros, apparently. Wahomie, go ahead, man. Is he coming? I don't think he's coming, but is he coming?
I don't think he is. Purely because I think we're going to go for a more defensive person rather than attacking one. And we're going to focus on pushing Thiago forward. I think that's what the grade is instead.
Didn't they sign Basua?
Well, it's apparently Anfield, Robert Grootman at Anfield Rap.
Yep.
He's saying that we bid 35 million for him today. That's what he's been told.
For Basuma?
So, yeah, for Basuma, yeah. So I don't know how true that is, but that's what they're saying. Someone posted it, but that's what he said on his podcast. So I think they're going to go for him instead. I've got my reservations of it. I think Basuma's a good player, but I prefer the attacking one. But I have my reservations over it. The more thing I wanted to talk about was just quickly about Fowler and Carragher opening up academy at Melwood.
Yeah,
they convert Melwood into an academy, so that can be quite good for us in terms of they start producing local talent. You find a new Michael Owen or Robbie Fowler.
Look at Michael Owen, piss off.
Great player, though.
Don't bring that name up.
Or this new Steven Gerrard.
That's better, thank you.
We need more local boys. More local boys. And I can't remember the last time we had a local young striker come through. Can't remember the last time. It's a long time since you had a striker. So it'd be good to have a local lad that's a good striker that can come in and score goals. We've always had a good local boy up top scoring goals, so it'd be good to have one or attacking player. So if they can get it up and running and it starts producing, it could be another little place for Liverpool to get talent from.
I wouldn't put a lot of stock in that, though. I wouldn't pin my hopes on that. Like, our academy is good for a reason. I appreciate that they bought Melwood out, and I like the idea that they're going to try and get homegrown talent, but I just kind of think, what are they going to get that the academy won't have already scouted? Right. But that, you know what, I'm happy to be proven wrong, and I'm happy to have basically two academies that can allow then, instead of being restricted by numbers, or able to take in two lots of really talented children and promote them through that way. I'm more than happy to be doing that. I'm happy to be proven wrong, but I don't see what they can do that the academy isn't already doing.
It doesn't hurt us, though, in my opinion. It only adds value for us, regardless of what happens. All around.
I always love Michael Owen's name. Whenever you say name, it brings so much debate. Like, you got some people who say, "Oh, he was a great player." There's some people who say, "Oh, like F off." Someone say the Ballon d'Or winner.
Hate him.
He's our ambassador still. He's still our ambassador. That's crazy.
He shouldn't be an ambassador. After that tweet, I know we're going to finish up in a minute, but after that tweet he put up with the Premier League trophy, holding the ribbons, being like, "These are going to change the blues." Who the fuck do you think you are? Yeah. Regardless of how you feel personally, you're the club ambassador. There's a level of professionalism required there, and that's just snubs every Liverpool fan. Any Liverpool fan who had a little bit of respect left for Michael Owen just went, swivel on it.
Yeah, that was even from a young, I knew that was shitty.
I lost all respect for Michael Owen. I lost the majority of the way things panned out, but I lost a lot more respect the last bit of it when he started commentating on Liverpool games, and every single thing Liverpool did, whether it was good, bad, indifferent, was always our fault. Or when Liverpool weren't even playing and he was commentating on another game and he somehow managed a way to slate Liverpool for it. Nah, can't bear him. I just see his face and I want to put it through a window. I can't bear him.
Yeah, you seem pretty angry.
Honestly, I can't. I don't know whether it's the way I was raised, because my dad can't bear him either. Like, you mentioned Michael Owen in our house, and me and my dad go, like, we can't stand him. Hate him. But that's another debate.
Yeah.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we're not ending on a light note or on a nice note. So appreciate that. But for all you guys still in the chat, thank you so much for joining us today. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We're going to be on tomorrow for the West Brom pre-match. Same time as always, 10 p.m. UK time, 5 p.m. if you're in the States, Eastern time. But any last words for you two?
No. Pretty much covered everything tonight.
Michael Owen sucks.
Yes!
What are you going to say, homie?
We're looking forward to West Brom to put one into Fat Sam.
We'll break it down tomorrow, guys. All right. Up the Reds, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you later.
Up the Reds.